Alright guys, so we're going to be talking about rate. So in the last video we talked about ratio, which was comparing two like qualities or two like quantities or two similar quantities. In this case we're going to be comparing two unlike quantities with different units. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, let's go and say, for the sake of argument, we got our buddy Chris. So our buddy Chris is a speed walker. Yeah, he's a super slow speed walker. But let's say we got Chris and he's our speed walker, and he is able to go 15 kilometers every 3 hours. That's how fast he's able to move. Okay? And he's racing our other buddy, Sean, who is only able to go 45 kilometers every 10 hours. And we want to figure out who's faster. Well, we use rates to figure out which one of these guys is faster. And there's two ways to figure this out. So one way of doing it is the common denominator method. Okay? So the common denominator method. Okay, so what exactly is the common denominator method? Well, what that means is we have to find a common denominator of both 3 and 10. Okay, something that they both can be multiplied by, so we can have them both have the same denominator. So what we can do is we can go and be like, alright, well, what are these two numbers multiplied by? So if we go and say, well, if we take 3 and use prime factorization, try and break it up, 3 is a prime number. This is as low as it goes. And if we take 10 and use prime factorization to break it up, we get 2 times 5. By taking these numbers together, so by taking the prime factor of 3 and the factors of 10, which are 2 and 5, that'll give us 30. 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 times 5 is 30. So we know that that both these numbers, their greatest common divisor is 30. Okay? I mean, their least common multiple, my mistake, their least common multiple is 30. So if we go through this and we're like, alright, well, if we need to get to 30, so if I multiply this by 10 and this by 10, I will get 150 kilometers over 30. And the same thing, if I need to go and make this 30 hours, if I need to make this 30, I can multiply it by 3 and 3. And what that'll give me is 45 times 3 is 135. Keep the unit as kilometers. And 3 times 10 is 30. So right now they're similar. So I've now made them have the same numerator and the same denominator. Okay? Both of them have 30 and 30. Now if I want to know who is faster, okay, well, 150 kilometers in 30 hours as opposed to 130 kilometers in 30 hours, I know that Chris is faster. He's my faster guy. But that's one method of doing it. There's another way that we can do it. Okay, so the other way that we can do this is called the quotient method. Okay, so the quotient method. Okay, now all the quotient method is, all it is dividing. Okay, and the quotient is our answer. Okay, that's what the quotient is the answer to our division. So if we were to take them again, we got Chris, who is still miraculously able to run 15 kilometers in 3 hours. Okay, so we got him running 15 kilometers in 3 hours. And we still got, what's his name? Where'd he go? We called him Sean. And we still got Sean, who is able to run 45 kilometers in 10 hours. All the quotient method is dividing. So what we would do is we would take our numerator and divide it by our denominator. So 15 kilometers divided by 3. Well, 15 divided by 3 is 5 kilometers. But we still have to keep the unit. So 15 divided by 3 is not only 5 kilometers, but is 5 kilometers in an hour. And if we would take our 45 kilometers here and divide it by 10, we would get 4.5 kilometers. But it's still hours, so 4.5 kilometers per hour. So Chris is still the faster guy. So this is how we can compare rates with different quantities. So we can do the quotient method, where we're just going to divide the numerator by the denominator, which is one method. So this is one way of doing it. The other way we can do it is we can do the common denominator method, where we figure out what our common denominator is, make sure that both our quantities have the same denominator, and then compare the numerators, and we can figure out which one's bigger that way. So I hope this, guys, helps you figure out how to do rates and ratios. Between the two videos, you should be pretty squared away, and I'll see you in class. Take care.